Well, I hope that 5.9% gets you an extra quarter tank of gas.
Yeah, you think so? You mentioned in another video how much you've paid for gas lately.
I mean, you don't drive as much, I'm assuming, but
Mhm.
depending on what gas station you went to, or if you use Visa, Mastercard, or American Express, the gas pump will turn off at 75, 100, or $125. If I use American Express at a certain pump or a certain gas station, it goes to 125, but most places it's 100. And I used to be able to get a full tank of gas for 100. Hell no. Last time I did that bitch snapped off at $100, and I had like 7 gallons to go. And I'm like, oh man, this ain't gonna go down anytime soon, is
Well, at least nobody's going to work, so nobody's driving.
it? Oh shit. Um, it's I think about it. My father, I think he gets maybe like $1,300 or something off Social Security, and that's all he really has. I pay for his car and his house and all of his shit. He puts all of his living expenses on a credit card I give him. There's no way he would ever get by on the $1,300 a month. And with this 6%, he gets an extra $100 a month right now. The problem is, like, I see his grocery bill because it's on my credit card. We talked in other episodes. His groceries went up at least 30%,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're giving 5.9%. And then we know gas is up, and gas goes up and down. So I know it's hard to give a cost of living increase when you got a commodity goes up and down. But I would say, overall, rent's going up, houses are more expensive, everything's going up. 5.9% ain't going to fix this issue for the seniors that are on a fixed income, and that sucks.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, does this signal too that the government is acknowledging that inflation is real right now?
I mean, how does this not? It's this is a direct stamp of approval that inflation is an issue. The problem is it's not even close to what the real number is.
Right, right. That's true. Last 12 years, James, the average kind of annual bump that Social Security is giving is about 1.4%. So this is a significant bump. But you're right. How do people live if I guess it's like pick the one grocery item that you prioritize the most because you can buy that.
Yeah, and it goes back to my father worked in a steel factory his whole life.
Yeah.
He didn't have a great life. Made some other bad decisions that didn't help his cause. But for a guy with an eighth grade education and working in a steel factory, he did the best he could. But he was never going to save enough money for retirement. It was never going to be close. And we talk about this because he's always so thankful that I do so much for him. And if you think about like what $1,300 gets you, if he just lived in a shitty apartment right now, it's about 700. You can't
Yeah.
live on the other $500, Kane.
No.
It's car insurance, which in Michigan, we got the highest car insurance rates in the fucking country, and then food and incidentals and anything. There's no way he'd live on that. He'd end up in one of those co-op housing places, and he would still struggle. So when I talk to the younger kids today, I'm like, stop listening to this. You don't have to have it figured out in your 20s shit.
Yeah.
And you can build a career at 30 and 40. It's like, well, it's hard getting a job if you're over 50 now. You need to be busting your ass and saving some money. And I call it the scared straight retirement edition. Go visit my dad's friends in one of those co-ops where they're living check to check Social Security. Where they're broke, it's zero. They got zero unless they got family helping them until that Social Security check hits again. Is that how you want to spend living the last 30 of your life?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a great point. I had a question I wanted to ask you about this, James, and it comes from kind of my ignorance around Social Security. But like I remember a few years ago, or maybe it's still a thing, but there was a lot of talk around draining Social Security that it wouldn't exist because they would run out of money. But how come we can afford to bump things up 5.9% and but on the other side is the pool of money is shrinking. How do you weigh that?
Yeah. And this is where you could argue with every college professor, economics professor. They'll run the room out of oxygen, telling you you're wrong. But in my own opinion, what's going to happen is they're just going to print more money, Kane. Some way, somehow, they're just going to print more money. Where did the $6 trillion come from to go to Afghanistan? I mean, I'm listening. Like,
Yeah.
did they go to Goldman Sachs and say, "Hey, hook me up? Can you hook me up with a couple trill?" Did they call up Warren Buffett, like, "Hey, can you break me off about 50 billion? We need a few bucks for this war." No, they didn't do that. They found a way to get the money, as they always do.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to argue that, then I want to ask you what the fuck we just did in the last 18 months.
Right.
Because that is trillion after trillion after trillion after trillion. Where the fuck did it come from? Somehow, some way, we always do it. And what the government doesn't want you to know is they can do it. It causes issues, such as the inflation issues we're going through right now. It causes issues such as people don't want to go back to work. Or they had so much money that we've overconsumed. And then when you combine that with people not working, now we got a global supply chain problem.
Right.
So the government never going to want to tell you that they can do it, because then they're going to be like, "Well, fuck you. Why am I going to this shitty job? Print me some more money. Give me health care. Do all these things." But I'll tell you what, when it comes to wars, when it came to the pandemic, we sure find trillions whenever we want it.
Great point.
So if we're going to print all that money to keep people to stay home, basically, with the unemployment insurance last year, right? If we can do that, then they're going to bail out Social Security. So I never bought that for a minute, because it would be a complete destruction of the upper 1/3 of age class in this country. And it's not going to happen. You can do all the doom and gloom you want, but it's not going to happen. Just like we always found more money for the war, and we found a tremendous amount of money for this pandemic, and we're trying to spend another 3.5 trillion right now. They just go mint a $1 trillion coin, King.
That's true.
It's fucking Zimbabwe 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, going back to the original point of the article, like that 5.9%, knowing how much things are costing right now, it's just not going to go very far.
Yeah, man. It's the people that are already living on a fixed income and living check to check, they're struggling, and now they're struggling more. You just hope there's people out there to help them out.
Yeah.
Maybe this is transitory, but it seems to be sticking the fuck around for a little while. You've seen a few of the commodities and whatnot come back, but gas is going up.
Yep.
Food's staying up. There's a lot of things that are staying up right now. So obviously a stamp of approval that there's massive inflation. I just don't think they're anywhere near what real inflation is for what like a senior citizen is living on right now.
Right. Especially the people who need it the most. Yep.
People that need it the most, man. But I don't know. That's all I got for this one. Like I said, just gonna keep printing money. Every economics 101 first day of class, that students like, print more money, and then the professor scolds you for 20 minutes on how you're an ignorant, dumb kid. And then we just watch the government just run that printing press nonstop, right? That's what's gonna happen, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Sounds good.
Okay.